was about some of my observations, inexpert observations, I should say. Although I am a bit of a news junkie after 5 years of living in France, of what the political differences and similarities in political culture and some of the structural differences and similarities that I've seen since we've been here. All right, I am traveling back from the beaches of southwest France to our main home in Grenoble, in eastern France, near the Alps. And I thought I'd take the opportunity, if it's that, to re-record a video I previously tried to record and had a bunch of technical problems, and now I just had a bunch of technical problems on the train trying to record it. So this is about the 5th attempt on the train. Anyway, let's see how it goes. Here's some of those autumn colors I was talking about. As you likely know, both countries are kind of uniquely situated in having had big democratically oriented revolutions around the same time. I should mention that if it looks like you're not very impressed with French travel because of where I'm seated, it's had a little difficulty sitting with Spiky over here in the main part of the train. So decided to sit over here in the cargo hold with him. It's not really a cargo hold, it's more like the entryway. But here's my travel buddy. You can see him? Getting a little snooze time. Alright. Well, in the Toulouse train station, Spikey's made himself comfortable on the bench here next to me. The revolutions were heavily influenced by French Renaissance thinkers at the time. The French Revolution was an internal revolution that overthrew the monarchy and was focused on equal rights. The American Revolution, in contrast, was a colonial independence movement focused primarily on commercial freedom and freedom from the taxation of the colonial power in England. The French Revolution abolished slavery until Napoleon came into power. The American Revolution preserved slavery. In fact, some historians argue that part of the American Revolution, part of the motivation for the American Revolution was for the preservation of slavery. Ironically, or maybe not so ironically, the American Revolution succeeded and the French Revolution failed, at least structurally, in that it ushered in a new monarch, that being Napoleon, and as well as Napoleon III, all the way until the latter part of the 19th century. The concept of equality is very much ingrained into the French idea of democracy, whereas in the U.S., equality is more a limited concept in terms of equality of opportunity. Maybe I romanticize, but I like to think that the different DNA of the French Revolution versus the U.S. Revolution has influences the current ideas of democracy. I also think that the World War II and post-World War II experiences of the two countries had a dramatic impact on shaping current events and basically the political culture in each of the countries. For example, as we all know, communism is not a dirty word in France, nor is socialism in the U.S. Went to extreme lengths to stamp out and purge anyone that was labeled themselves as a communist or a socialist in the U.S. Moving on to some of the things I've noticed since we've lived here now for 5 years. I'm a bit of a news junkie and also just keeping my eyes open. One of the things, this fits right into U.S. stereotypes, but when you come to France, you'll immediately notice the higher number of strikes and political protests. But I think one thing that maybe it's not so much part of the stereotype, but one of the things I noticed in France is that the public, generally speaking, as far as I can tell, is more supportive of strikes as well as protests, but particularly strikes. Thing that's been highly publicized is there's been two recent, very high-profile convictions of for corruption, and that being Marie Le Pen and Nicolas Sarkozy. Marie Le Pen's conviction would have been the equivalent of Donald Trump getting convicted before the election. As a result of her conviction, she is banned from running for public office, I believe, or is it just the president? I believe it's public office for 5 years. Nicolas Sarkozy, on the other hand, he is spending some actual jail time, several years of jail time. In my opinion, the main thing that's infecting the U.S. political system, its democracy right now, is the essential legalization of corruption in the U.S. All the elected officials seem to be wholly captured by corporate and billionaire interests. Now, French people will tell you it's the same here, but I think it's the same here as maybe it was in the U.S. 20 years ago. They're certainly influenced by the money powers, but I don't think it's nearly to the extent that it is in the U.S. Structural difference in the political system in France is ranked voting and a multi-party system. I think the two are related, quite frankly. But in ranked voting, you rank your choices, 1, 2, I'm not sure how far down you can go, but you can rank at least 2, and maybe one of the commenters will fill me in on that. I don't know if you can put in 5 or what, but you rank your first choice and your second choice and so on. And in the U.S., all the elections are essentially binary, which I think feeds into the two-party system, where you really choices are limited. Break to look at the beautiful Toulouse train station and area around the train station. I think this is a beautiful city. I mean, what city in France is not? But yeah. Now, high-speed rail. This is the second leg of the trip. So anyway, that is some of the things that I think that will help France keep it from going the way that the U.S. does, hopefully, that it'll not get into the sort of corrupt and authoritarian situation that the U.S. is dealing with right now. I'm on the third leg of the trip, and it's one of these old, we're not on the high-speed rail anymore, just the I don't know what you call it, the inner city kind of rail, intra-city, and I love these old cars. Let me show you. There you go. And one of the worrying trends is the acquisition and consolidation by billionaires of news media. That's happening here. It's kind of a trend towards that. On the other hand, one of the things that France has over the U.S. is it has a very robust public television and radio environment.
much more so than the U.S. I guess I should have mentioned that as one of the good things. But there is this worrying trend of billionaires taking over media, which of course is a big part of what's happened in the U.S. and is why I think Americans are so propagandized. Another negative trend is the focus on immigrants. I mean, no matter what you think about the immigration, how much there should be or what impact it's having, I think it's history proves that it's used by the powerful to sort of manipulate the masses, and that's happening here as well. Our dog brain, you know, the way dogs are very strongly, instinctively coded to distrust and distrust strangers coming into the yard and guard that yard very, very vigorously. Oh, and one more thing. I think French people in general are better educated than the U.S., particularly in the early years through high school. Education here is more rigorous, if somewhat more rigid, so I'm told. But definitely more rigorous, watching my own kids go through it. And I also get the feeling that French people read more, judging by the number of bookstores and the number of people in the bookstores, at least in cities and urban centers, urban areas rather than urban centers. Also, I think with respect to that education, I think the education and just the the location of France and the history gives French people a much better perspective on the agility of democracy and the importance of equality and a social safety net. Anyway, that's a wrap on this video. I've been talking kind of quietly because I am in a public space with people sitting right nearby. But anyway, I'd be interested to hear what your thoughts are on the content of this video. Well, here's a look at this leg of the trip. We left Valence and have just left Le Mans. Next will be Saint-Hilaire, Saint-Marcelin, Julens, and Morange, and then Grenoble at 2032. We are on, I don't know, what is it, like the fifth leg of the trip? We go by car from Montlieu to Péon, then train, leg 1, 2, and 3 legs of the train, then streetcar in Grenoble, and then walk home. So that's 5 motorized legs and 1 foot-powered leg. Here we are back in Grenoble. This city really is underrated. Really, tourists don't come here, man. Not even to ski. They go back right to the ski resorts. So that's for the non-content part of the video. And I guess one last clip of Spikey leading the way home. He's excited to get his muzzle off, and that's kind of just an all-purpose rag I have attached to his harness, as well as the muzzle on the side, you see? Anyway, he is raring to get home. So am I.